When the mayfly emerges from its pupal case, it's called an sub-imago, or a dun. It doesn't live very long, sometimes just a few hours, sometimes just a few days. When it's ready to mate, it goes through a final molt, and then it's known as an imago, or a spinner. The mayfly mates, and then the female drops to the water where she drops her eggs, eventually then also just dropping her dead body on the water with her wings spread. I'm tying this imitation of the spinner on a 14 dry fly. I'm using tan thread. For the tail, I'm going to be using a couple of fibers from a duck feather. I like the spotted look, which imitates some mayfly tails. Fling Puterbaugh suggests something like moose mane or havelina. I'm going to be tying the body with bleached ginger dubbing. For the wings, I'm going to be using a couple of these feathers from a light dun hen cape. And for the hackle, which imitates the legs and antenna, I'm going to be using dark dun rooster cape. Having tied in my thread, I'm going to create a tiny little dubbing dam that is going to hold the two tail fibers apart. So just a tiny little bit of dubbing in right here back at the bend of the hook. I'm going to just build a little dam. Could do that with thread, I suppose, but I'm going to be using that same dubbing for the body. Then I'm going to take just one of these fibers, length of the body, and tie it in so that it's on the back side of the hook. So if I tie it in a little bit on top, spinning my thread counterclockwise causes it to go backwards towards my fingers when I wrap, and grab that. There we go. Couple wraps, make sure that it doesn't wrap underneath, and I'm going to take another one of those fibers from that duck feather, same length. This one I'm wrapping in on the front side, again twisting my thread counterclockwise so that it wraps back towards my finger. And then I have the two tail. There are actually three on the mayfly, but I think the hook kind of acts as the third one there, or you could tie in a third one if you wanted to be biologically correct, I guess. Clip out the extra here. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of that bleached ginger dubbing and create a body. So to do this really right, the best thing to do would be to observe the mayflies in the stream where the fishing is happening, and then tie flies to imitate those. Because the spinner is dead when it lays on the surface of the water, the trout are pretty picky. So, from what I've read anyway, you want a spinner that imitates the natural as closely as possible. Leaving plenty of space in the front of the hook to tie in the wings and the dubbing. So I have pre-measured 2 of those dun feathers for the wings. I have them sitting back to back, and I have cut the tips For easy tie-in, put those one on each side of my hook shank. I'm tying them leaning back. And then I'm going to stand them up, pull them towards the eye, wrap behind them to get them first to stand up. Then I'm going to clip out those stems. Guess I got them both. Now I want these to lay down flat, so I'm going to figure eight them. Using my thread, I hope, to get them positioned on the hook shank, laying out flat. Doesn't look too bad. Got one coming forward a little bit, one coming back a little bit. But they lay flat in the spinner stage. And I'll take a piece of the dark dun that I'm using for legs and tie that in on top. Try not to bury that other wing back there. And then bring it to the front and tie that off in front. Got a little stem I can cut out there. Try not to take anything else. Probably doesn't matter a whole lot if I take that stem out. I will be wrapping the hackle. So then I'm going to grab that hackle with my hackle pliers. I'm going to do 2 wraps behind the wings. So that'll help to keep them forward. And then I'll bring my hackle in front of them and wrap however many times I have room for, 2, 3. I did leave quite a bit of space out in front. Tie that front hackle off. I can take it out of my pliers, pull everything back, and start wrapping ahead. Clip out the hackle. I'll do a whip finish, a little bit of head cement, and I have an imitation of the Mayfly spinner, either as it's laying its eggs or as it's finished its life, giving its life to its next generation, laying on top of the stream where the trout will feast. So there you have it. Looks like I could do a little bit of cleanup up here in front. Make sure my eye is clean. And the Mayfly spinner.